طيب جزاكم الله خير. The first, that one we start before, was very important things today we discussed during the meeting in the morning. So we said it should be raised to everyone knows that the course specification is the original file that we need to work on. The first topic that will be raised in the third session is the processes for identification and the review of program level and course level learning outcome, which is very important. If we have a problem in the program learning outcomes, course learning outcomes, in the assessment, in the continuous improvement of the learning outcomes, it will be really a big problem. So based on that, we just discussed now before we start this session, we will just give a brief introduction about the learning outcomes for maybe some of our new jointly brothers and sisters. Okay, what is the learning outcome in general? What is the definition of learning outcomes? I'll try to go so fast in these things just to give a brief introduction of that. The learning outcome generally. The learning outcome is describe what the learners are supposed to know, understand, and able to do at the end of educational process. For example, when we are talking about program learning outcome, it means that describe what the learners or our graduates supposed to know and understand and able to do. This is very important at the end of the program. When we are talking about course learning outcomes, which is called the CLO, and that one program learning outcome is called the PLO, what students know, understand, and able to do at the end of the course. Another definition, which is describe the knowledge, as here in NCAAA inside Saudi Arabia, describe the knowledge, skills, and values that students able to do at the end of educational process. Could be a program, could be a course. It's similar to that one. Okay, learning outcomes, different levels. We have different levels. Mainly they consider now about 3 levels or 4 levels. Okay, but in this session they consider about 2 levels. But we have to give introduction about these levels and the importance to differentiate between these levels. The main important levels is program learning outcome and course learning outcome. Program learning outcomes, what's the knowledge, skills, and the values that students able to do at the end of the program, and this one at the end of the course. However, we have different levels of learning outcomes which impact the way of defining these learning outcomes, assessing these learning outcomes, even if teaching these learning outcomes. So we have ministry learning outcomes in some countries. We don't have here in Saudi Arabia, but some countries, they have it, these ministry learning outcomes, which will be very broad learning outcomes. Now, almost NCAAA, they are ready to have National Accreditation Agency learning outcome. Still, we don't have it until now, but now in the process, NCAAA, that they define some learning outcomes for computer science. They define learning outcomes for IS, learning outcomes for IT. Still now, it's not ready, but coming, I think, 2 years, they will release these learning outcomes. We have discipline learning outcomes. For example, in computer science, we have ABET learning outcomes, which is very popular, and most of the universities, colleges, programs, computer science, they use it. We have the university graduate attributes, which we have it in the university. At the end, it's in some way, it's a learning outcomes, in the way of learning outcomes. It's and it will appear tomorrow, very important tomorrow, how we use the university graduate attributes to formulate our program graduate attributes and our program learning outcomes. By the way, our university graduate attributes are 7 graduate attributes. 7 Najran University graduate attributes are 7 graduate attributes. Then we have university learning outcomes, but in our university still we don't have these learning outcomes. Sometimes we have it, college learning outcomes, we don't have it. Then we have these program learning outcomes, which is at the level of the program. We have the course learning outcomes, which is at the level of the course. Then at the down level, we have a unit or chapter learning outcomes. we have a lesson learning outcomes, we have a task learning outcomes, etc. We can go smaller and smaller. In the program learning outcomes, sometimes we have what we call the performance indicators, which we are using in our college. In our college, for program, computer science program, and for information system program, we have a performance indicators for the program learning outcomes. Currently, CS learning outcomes in the current plan, not updated plan, are 11 learning outcomes, program learning outcomes. We have, for each of these 11 learning outcomes, we have specific performance indicators for these program learning outcomes. Totally, we have 33 performance indicators. Some colleges, some programs, but in our case, we don't have it. They have what they call the sub-course learning outcomes or performance indicators for the course learning outcomes. So here we are not to discuss about these things, just to know that this is different level. And when we are formulating or identifying which is the course, program learning outcome, when we are defining the learning outcomes or the course learning outcomes, based on the level, it will be the way of identification of formulation. For example, when we are formulating the program learning outcome, it will be a broad statement, general statement. If we are going upper to the university graduate attributes, it will be more general, more broad statement. If we are, for example, going to the ministry, it will be more broad. But we are going down, the course learning outcome, it will be more specific, but not that specific as in the chapter learning outcome, in the lesson learning outcome, in the task learning outcome. So these concepts should be in our mind, and it was in our mind when we design our program learning outcomes or our course learning outcomes, which we talk. But this is, I give it to understand, because one of the mistakes or common problem defining formulation of learning outcomes, when we design course learning outcomes, either we design a very broad statement which cannot be achieved during the course, or we design very specific learning outcomes, which could be a task learning outcome or lesson learning outcome. So this is just to give what is the learning outcomes, the levels. Now in session 3, they are focusing about program learning outcomes, course learning outcomes only, but how we identify, how we formulate it, how we design these learning outcomes. I'm giving just a brief introduction, then we will, I explain how we design it actually. When we design learning outcomes, there is one very important source that we have to refer, which is Bloom taxonomy. Bloom taxonomy, this is Benjamin Bloom, one of the greatest scientists working on this education field. He defined his taxonomy that we refer when we design or formulate our learning outcome, course learning outcome or program learning outcomes. The Bloom taxonomy is 6 levels. Okay, Bloom, he believed that the understanding of the knowledge, when we start, we have to remember. For example, if we have, something that Qanun law, one law, mathematical law or physical law, at the beginning, they cannot understand. At the beginning, just only they remember, memorizing, they remember. So this is the lowest level of understanding the knowledge or the, in the courses, everything. So the basic one is remember. So alhamdulillah, I remember this law. Okay, after that, I remember the higher one. After I remember, I can understand. Okay, I can understand this law. Okay, what is the concepts in this law? After understanding higher level, I can apply. I can use this, law to apply it in somewhere, in some conditions. After that, alhamdulillah, I'm okay, reach to apply. I can after that analyze. Is this law suitable to this condition or this condition or this condition? After that, higher level, I can evaluate. Okay, this, law can be modified, can be enhanced, can be blah, blah, blah. And I can create a new law. This is the level of understanding or gaining the information. So normally we have to refer when we're designing our course learning outcome, program learning outcome, to Bloom taxonomy. So for example, the courses at the introductory level, should be the learning outcomes in the 3 levels: understanding, remembering, applying, but not the same verb. And we'll see. But it's at the beginning, we give our students the basic information that help them in computer science. However, when we go to the middle courses, it should be around here in apply, analyze. But when we go to the last level courses, it should be upper level. So this is very important concepts when we design our learning outcomes, especially the course learning outcome. Okay, and when we review, because we have multiple revision for our course learning outcomes, we find some of advanced courses, unfortunately, was the level of CLOs at the level of remember, understand. This is normal, but after the revision, we have to discover. And maybe until now, we find it's not logical at all. A course at the graduation level is still talking about the majority of the learning outcomes. I can find 1, 2, that one acceptable. But the majority of the CLOs of advanced course is still of understand and remember. This is a critical issue. And the opposite, it's not acceptable to have a course, introductory course, and most of the CLOs at the higher level. Yani, alhamdulillah, after the revision, we feel our CLOs that for the courses, it fits to the level of the course. This is a Bloom taxonomy. Just to remind that when we design the learning outcome statement consists of 3 parts. The first part is the action verb. The second one is the subject content. And the third one, the criterion or standard. So the action verb, which was very important as according to Bloom, why we use this action verb? To describe the type of the level of the performance expected from the learner. For example, I'm teaching database, for example. So I'm talking about the ARD model in the database. So what is the level of the students I would like to reach to them with their performance with ARD diagrams in the database? Either just I would like them to define it, or to analyze it, or to design. Based on that, I will select the action verb. If just only define, I said, okay, define or illustrate the ARD models. Analyze the model. Design the model. So the action verb is very important to explain or to show what is the expected level that I need my students to reach in the subject content. Here, for example, our subject content was the database ARD model. So this is the focus of learning. We are focusing on the database, for example, ARD model. This is the focus of learning. I need my students in the action verb, the performance is the verb. I need them to explain or analyze or design. So it should be clear. Then we have the acceptable performance. This is conditional. Okay, let me give example. For example, we said an action verb, subject content, criterion. So, for example, we are talking about research paper, writing an APA style research paper. So here, okay, the content that we need, our students, for example, master students or PhD students, for example, they need them to work in research paper. So what I need them to do with the research paper, write is different skills, reading the paper and is different skills, or reviewing as you are a reviewer in the journal is different skills. Then what is the acceptable level? We write, okay, write an APA style research paper of 2,500 words in length. So this is the 3 parts of any good example of learning outcome structure. For example, by the end of the course, students will be, for example, code the interactive components of a mock customer service portal in Java. So if we see to this sentence, CLO sentence, the code is the action verb. We need the students to reach to the level of coding. Based on that, teaching strategies should be aligned with this one. Assessment also should be aligned with the code also. Yani code, it shows us what is the teaching strategies. While I'm saying coding, it's mean that my teaching strategy should be in the lab coding. In the assessment, I should assess the code, not definition, not define. The learning content is the interactive components of a mock customer service and portal. In Java, the Java is the criterion or condition. This is could be it can be used, cannot be used. This is normal. For example, explain an AR diagram for a real case problem. I said this is the example that I gave. Explain is a level. Another level, for example, is apply. Another level is analyze. Another level is a design based on what I need my student to reach in AR diagram, and so on. Thus, this is very important. So the label, one of the common mistakes that we found it and could be asked, so someone, or we should be ready for that. We should avoid using the vague action verbs, like it's not acceptable to use understand. For example, in the previous one, it's not acceptable to use understand an AR diagram for real case problem. And by the way, we found it many times in our silos during when we are reviewing. Why it's not acceptable to write understand? Okay, because understand is a vague action verb. Understand is a big word. Understand could be understand to the level that you can explain. You can understand to the level that you can apply. Understand to the level of analyze, understand to the level of design. So it's not clear. Understand to which level? Similar, no. Know to which level? Okay, I want my students to know these things, but to which level? It's not clear. Appreciate, grasp, learn, be familiar with. We found it. Be familiar with. Okay, to which level? So this vague action verb should not be used in our learning outcomes. NCAAA now, the Center for the PLOs, they require the PLO to be, the program learning outcomes, to be in the number between 8 to 12. Not less than 8, not more than 12. So this is, we will talk when we design our, or formulate our new learning outcomes. It was 6 based on EBIT. NCAAA, they didn't accept less than 8. So we added, so we will talk later. But this is the requirement between NCAAA, even if Dr. Mohammed Alshargabi, in the last visit, for the validation visit, he mentioned that, okay, that this is the acceptable number of PLOs. For CLO, sorry, that one is a mistake, sorry. This is CLO, not PLO. Yani the acceptable level between 4 to 8. CLO, sorry, this is CLO, between 4 to 8. Some people say 5 to 8. This is yani acceptable now. They are moving 4 to 7. So this is acceptable level. Yani cannot accept 3 to 10, 12. That one be difficult during the assessment, which we'll talk about it tomorrow, because tomorrow they will consider about the assessment. So tomorrow's session, we'll talk about how we use our assessment for the courses and PLOs. We should find the appropriate level of the learning outcome in order to choose the right action verb, as we say, based on your course. In which is it introductory level, middle level, high level, with what you want your students to reach, you have to select the right action verb. We have many times we distribute these Bloom taxonomy action verbs. Okay, and for example, we say to use understand the syntax of Java programming language is a wrong or not good learning outcomes at the course level. It could be acceptable PLO at the program level. That one, it's acceptable at the program level for many reasons. It's not the time to talk. But at the course level, understand, know, be aware is not acceptable. So, Jazakumullah khair. I'm sorry I tried to, it took a long time, but I said very basic information that everyone should to know that how we define our learning outcomes, what is the basics that we use it during a learning outcome, and the refresh for our brothers who knows that. And I'm sorry if it was boring for some people. Okay.
Excuse me, Dr. Mohammed.
تفضل دكتور.
I just want to add one point here, is that some of the learning outcome either at the course level or at the program level, they do not map to the 6 cognitive level of the Bloom taxonomy, especially those which deal with the soft skill like communication, communicate effectively, like work as a team member. They are not mapping to the 6 cognitive level of Bloom taxonomy. I think they have another domains of learning of Bloom's, because Bloom he identified 3 domains of learning. One of them is the cognitive level, which has the cognitive domain, which has 6 levels. So, those learning outcome, for example, communicate effectively and work as a team member, for example.
You're right, Doctor.
You got my point?
Yes. Jazakallah khair. Yes. And we have it. We can send it to everyone. I said, yes. Bloom, when he identified 3 types of learning domains: cognitive, soft skills, psychomotors. And for each one, he defined his Bloom taxonomy. Now we focus on the cognitive. But really, we have that for the soft skills. They have this Bloom taxonomy, another Bloom taxonomy, which is 6 levels, another 7 levels of that. We can also share it later in the group. Jazakallah khair for this information, Dr. Anwar. Okay. Now,
Assalamu alaikum. I have one question here. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes,
if they ask you that how the course learning outcomes are aligned with graduate attributes, how you will answer it?
Okay, now we will come, brother, for that. Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah khair, Dr. Asad. Yes, now explain. Now we will explain, because mapping between CLOs and PLOs very important. We will talk about it now, and it will be mapped to the graduate attributes. Right. Actually, in our college, in our learning outcomes, when during the establishment of program learning outcomes, the team at that time, they start looking to the professional advices and committees. Okay, was considered. Like at that time when they start in 2011, 2012. Okay, they see the IEEE. Okay, the ACM. Okay, CSAP. All these professional societies, which they have some guidelines for preparing the CLOs, preparing the courses, preparing the learning outcomes, especially ACM. They have ACM curriculum guideline, okay, which they are working with IEEE. So when they start working with that, they consider these things. And also they consider mainly ABIT at that time, and the requirement of NCAAA and national qualification at that time, and SAP. Okay, so all these things was considered during the formulation of PLOs as a professional societies and local societies that can help us. Also, the mission and goals of the university of the program at that time was considered during the formulation. See, we are talking about process of identifying the PLOs. So the mission and goals of the university and the programs was at that time considered. Graduate attributes of the program now also consider. Now we are considering the graduate attributes of the university and the program. Okay, we can show how to sign all these things, and the community needs and the back program advisory committee. All these things was considered during our formulation of PLOs and recently the CLO. So professional societies like IEEE, ACM, ABIT as international agency, NCAAA requirements, SAQF now, National Qualification Framework, the mission, goals of the university and program, graduate attributes of the university and program, and community needs. All these things was considered during the formulation of the PLO as well as the CLO. Based on that, if we can define it, because we have 2 versions of PLOs. So everyone, we have 2 versions of PLO. And the first semester of academic year, that in 2011, 2012, the programs with the Cqi units meet with all faculty at that time and discuss the formulation of the PLOs. Okay, male and females, they have brainstorming, they have a survey at that time to propose the PLOs. Actually, mainly it was first draft about ABIT. So, No major changes about EBIT, even if at that time, 2011, 2012, they consider male and female students and other stakeholders. This is what is written in the SSR, and no major comments of the proposed PLO, which was exactly the EBIT A to K for CS and EBIT A to J for IS. So from that time, from 2011, 2012, until the moment, by the way, we are using for CS 11 program learning outcomes. 11 learning outcomes, which is A to K, which is EBIT. This one is used from 2011, 2012, until now for the current plan. The current plan is still working with the same EBIT A to K learning outcome, but we have just convert them to the learning domains of NCAAA. Okay, and generally, EBIT, when they define their learning outcomes, A to I, 9 learning outcomes are common, similar in CS and IS. If we can see now, this is IS. We can see IS is 10 learning outcomes from A to J. But we can say from 1 to 9, which is from A to J. Okay, from A to I are similar in CS and IS. The difference is CS, they have 2 more learning outcomes, which is J and K. And J is different from the J that in IS. This is CS, this is CS. But for example, I or H or J is same in CS and IS. IS, as we said, this is the program learning outcomes for IS, for the current plan, not for the updated plan. It's 10 learning outcomes from A to J. As I said, 1 to 9 is similar. The just only difference in the last one, J, an understanding of an ability to support and use delivery and management of information system with an information system environment. Based on that, we have our assessment cycle. We have to update, to review our, this was the first process of identification. We consider ACM, IEEE, ABIT, NCAAA, National Qualification Framework, the mission, goals, university program, graduate attributes, the community, the back. So we identify our first learning outcomes at that 2011, 2012. After that, starting from 2017, we start to review 16, 17. We start reviewing the second part of this session, or this topic in this session, reviewing of the program learning outcome. So based on that, for many reasons, for example, based on the first assessment cycle, because this PLO, we create our program assessment cycle, which was for 4 years, which we'll talk more about it tomorrow. It was from the year 2012 to the year 2016. We close this cycle. We assess all the PLOs. Based on that, we suggest to update the PLOs and the curriculum. And based on that, our updated curriculum was one of the main inputs to update our curriculum was our first assessment cycle. This is one of the things, but we have another factors affecting updating the curriculum. As well as the Program Advisory Committee during the meeting of 2017, 2018, they suggest to have, to review and to come up with the learning outcomes. ABIT, by the way, ACM and ABIT, for example, in October 2018, they come up with the new learning outcomes, 6 learning outcomes. Now, ABIT, the new ABIT learning outcomes are 1 to 6. So based on that, even if when we find the comments that we receive it from independent opinion or from NCAAA, they wrote it's recommended that you adopt the new ABIT learning outcomes. However, we already adapted for the new plan, not for the old plan. So based on that, so we adopt the new ABIT 1 to 6. ABIT خلاص, no more. They didn't say it's A to K or A to J. خلاص, they considered 1 to 6. They come up with 6 learning outcomes. 5 of them are common between CS, IS, and IT. And the last one is different from CS, IS, and IT. Okay, so we adopt that in our new plan. However, 6 learning outcomes PLO will not meet the requirement of NCAAA and will not meet the requirement of National Qualification Framework. Based on that, we add 4 learning outcomes. Okay, so we modify the curriculum and adding extra courses and learning outcomes. So based on that, this is the new CS learning outcomes. It's 10 learning outcomes which will be implemented in the new updated curriculum. Yani dividing on the 3 domains. This is the 3 domains in National Qualification Framework: knowledge, understanding, skills, and values. And this is the updated learning outcomes. So 6 of them from ABIT, and we add, or the program, 4 learning outcomes. Similar to IS already implemented, already the updated plan, it's in the 6th level now. Okay, so even if it's similar, we have 10 learning outcome, 6 of them from ABIT and 4 added by the program. So now for the new learning outcomes, PLOs, they are 10 in IS, 10 in CS. However, in the old plan or current plan is 11 in CS and 10 in IS. Okay, that one about PLOs and what was the main things, how we created, what was the history. Again, was the main input professional societies, ACM, IEEE, ABIT, was the National Qualification Framework, society, missions, graduate attributes, and the goals of the program university, the PAC committee. All that one was input for the learning outcomes identification. Then the same one plus the assessment cycle was used during the review of our program learning outcomes. Okay, what about CLOs? Our CLOs are developed and reviewed from the PLOs of the program. Yani, when we define our CLOs, we should define the CLOs based on the PLO and based on the curriculum mapping. We will give now example. Based on the curriculum mapping, so this course is mapped with these PLOs and came to achieve or to contribute to these PLOs, program learning outcomes. So the CLO of the course should be designed to contribute to these PLOs. And it was distributed, as yesterday we discussed, to the knowledge groups to design it. Okay, this is the curriculum mapping. This is what we mean, the curriculum mapping. Okay, the curriculum mapping is located in the program specification. If you open the program specification for CS and IS, you will find a table. It's a big table, 3 pages, just here I give example. That's called the curriculum mapping or the program learning outcome matrix. Okay, which really here we have the courses. This is the courses of the program. This is just a symbol. And this is our learning outcome distributed among the domains: knowledge, skills, competencies. And this is the learning outcomes. Okay, so this is called the curriculum mapping, where it shows these course, for example, that structure course. When we insert it in our study plan, it came mainly to help the students to achieve K1, K3, S1, S2, S3, S4. So this is one of the core courses in our curriculum in CS and IS. It can contribute to the many core PLOs. Okay, so when we are designing now, okay, this course, the curriculum mapping, it shows exactly the relation between the courses and the PLOs. Based on that, when we design our syllabus or CLOs for data structure, for example, now we will come to design the course specification, we will create the CLOs. When I'm designing the CLOs of data structure, it should be designed, it should be inherited, it should be mapped with the same learning outcomes in the curriculum mapping. It's not acceptable at all for in data structure course to find the learning outcomes that design came to contribute to K2 or came to contribute to C2. Or I find here the mapping C1 or C3. No, this is not correct relation. And this is what yesterday we talked, the alignment between the operational and the strategy. PLO is a strategy, CLO operational. So this mapping is very important for the program, for the assessment, for the accreditation. Okay, so for this course, I should find here the learning outcomes, CLOs, which aligned with the same number and the same PLOs here. For example, that structure here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I should find the same 6 learning outcomes here. So based on that, we find a comment, the NCAAA, they give us some comments. Some courses was not aligned. Some of them was not aligned, probably. So we have our workshop that we did it, I think, on January. Most of the faculty work on that. But now also we have to double check. Is it really was correct way? Is it really your CLOs mapped with the PLOs? It's mean here, if you are reviewing data structure course, you should find here K1, K3, S1, S2, S3, S4 distributed with different learning outcomes. So based that, Dr. Ghassan, Jazakallah khair, he create one link to double check this one. Dr. Ghassan, you can share and explain what you want to explain.
Okay, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Mohammed, for your effort. Okay, I'm still sharing. Okay, can you see my sharing now?
Yes.
نعم دكتور ياسر.
طيب شكرا جزيلا. الفكرة the idea is like this, based on what Dr. Mohammed Alshargabi just indicate about the CLO and the importance to be mapping with the PLOs. We created 2 files. Every instructor should go to the file. For example, we will send the file. Just put the course name, his course name and code, what he's now. For example, I'm teaching 430 CIS Electronic Business. His name, Dr. Ghassan. The PLOs, from where he can get it. Can anyone just answer from where he can get the PLOs?
Program specification.
Okay, from program specification. Then after that, he will put what he found in the program specification regarding his course. I found, this is just example, K2, K3, S1, S3, S4, okay? After that, he will go to the course specification, his course specification, what is written and uploaded already. Do not change anything, because now it is already uploaded and they are now reading the things. If it is, just put what you written before in your course specification, K2, K3, S1, S3, good, great. In the course report, there is also one, you have to mention your CLOs in the course report. Put it as what is there. Then, okay, alhamdulillah, for this is just example. It is match. The whole are matching the laws with the course specification and course report. Another example, I'm also teaching 2-3 CIS e-commerce. My name, Dr. Ghassan. I will go to program specification and will write what I found from the PLO, K2, K3, S1. But suddenly, let's say, I found in my course specification K2, S3, S4. Also in a course report, I found K2, S3, S4. This is just an example. But now it is not matching with the PLO. See, there is a different. And you may find a different. Hopefully, we will not, because we already asked a lot of time that we need to update your course specification. But anyhow, let's say there is a missing, or you update something different, old file, for example, you should write not match as an instructor, not match, and put it just for us in red color. From there, you can find red color. Just put it here, not match, and put comments: missing, need update, CS and CR. Why there is? Let's say you miss to update your course specification based in below, so you need that. Later we will find. Maybe we will go with the course coordinators and head of department to see how we are going to solve it. Maybe we will allocate one file or one folder to put the updated things. Very simple. This is just for ICE courses. For CS, the same guidelines. We will send you the CS courses. Of course, male and female section. For example, I'm teaching 380 CS Fundamentals of Database. My name is Dr. Ghassan. The BLOs from the CS, I found it like this, and C course specification. Okay, alhamdulillah, match. So what we need, let's say the other courses, we need to be there. All courses that you are teaching should be listed here, and with your names, CLOs, you have to go to the program specification and find, and so on. This is what we needed. We will send you maybe tonight or tomorrow the links, so you can just put what you find. Later we will, I hope there's no, some problems will be found, but in case we will, as we mentioned, we will find some solution for that. Thank you. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair, Dr. Ghassan. Just I add it now as an example just to see. Okay, just example as Dr. Ghassan said. For example, this data structure course, you are reviewing that structure course. You find that this is the PLO from the program specifications. When you are reviewing your course specification or course report, you will find the aligned. This is, imagine this is written silos. There is silos here, just for example, and you find here the aligned with K1, K2, S2. So it's mean that there is a difference between the alignment here and the alignment here. So based on that, we fill the one that Dr. Ghassan said. Jazakallah khair, Dr. Ghassan. Okay, that one was about the first, topic in the session 3. The second topic in session 3 is talking about most important things, as we said during the introductory session or the first session, about continuous improvement planning and process. They would like to see how you implement the continuous improvement in different levels. Here they are mainly focusing about the learning outcomes continuous improvement. So we have very simple concepts. We have it everywhere in our program. The continuous improvement concepts in program learning outcomes. We have input, as we said, for our program, like faculty, students, plans, budget, all these things. We have a process, teaching and learning. We have outputs. We have the PLO as impact of the learning outcomes. Our graduates, they achieve this learning outcome. So our very simple continuous improvement concepts or framework that based on the CLO, after the students, they are achieving the PLOs, they are studying the courses, they are at the time of graduation, for example, we have to do assessment to have assessment. Assessment is different steps. It's not the time to explain. After that, we have to do the evaluation. For example, the assessment of PLO to see each PLO of, for example, the 11 PLO in CS. What is the assessment in each one of PLOs? What the number that we achieve? 55, 60, 70, 80, which we'll explain tomorrow. Based on that, we have to evaluate why this number we get it. Why in PLO S2, for example, we achieve 35. Why? We have to see the evaluation. Based on the evaluation, which is give us the reason, what was the problem, to identify the problem, we will design improvement plan. This improvement plan, we have to close the loop by implementation, which could goes anywhere. This is very simple continuous improvement. So if any question, mention that, what is the continuous improvement framework and concepts for learning outcomes? It's 4 steps: assessment, evaluation, designing improvement, and closing the loop, or implementation of improvement. But reviewers sometimes they like to hear some keywords. They like it, like closing the loop, okay, as implementation of the improvement. So just to remind, our first assessment cycle, or we can call it Cqi cycle, which is continuous quality improvement cycle. Okay, some people they called it Cqi. Some people they called it Cqi cycle or first assessment. It was, we start our continuous improvement cycle or first assessment cycle. It was in 2012, and it was for 5 years, because our program's duration is 5 years. Our revision cycle for the mission and goals, it was 5 years. We have to differentiate. For the higher level, like for the mission, for the goals, as we said in the first session, it was 5 years. However, for PLOs, because our programs is 4 years program, so we have the cycle of 4 years, and alhamdulillah, we were able to close this cycle from 2012 until 2016, 4 years. And the results of this first Cqi or assessment cycle was used to improve and update CS and IS PLOs and curriculum. Yani it was really the result of that was to update our curriculum, update our learning outcomes, and alhamdulillah. This is a real figure from CS program learning outcomes. This is A to K. This is CS students outcome, PLO. Okay, A to K. This is the actual results that we get it from different assessment methods. We have 5 assessment methods. Tomorrow we will talk about that, or maybe today just in a few. So this is the final results of the data collected from the 2012, 2013 up to 2015, 2016. This is the results that we get it. Some of that, some of PLOs we achieve it, some of that no, based in different assessment methods. Based on that, we create some actions, and this is a real action was from the SSR, from our report. For example, this is the general action for improvement, the IS program, based on the SO's assessment results from 2012, 2013, the assessment cycle. We can find many actions. For example, one of them, action number 4, general action number 4, was review and modify the information system IS curriculum. And really, we implemented, we update, and now we are in level 6 of that. And we have many actions, most of them, and we have a report. For example, add a co-op training to IS curriculum was one of the problems, that we don't have co-op or field training. Now we have field training in IS, similar to CS. Okay, so this is an example of actions that came from the continuous improvement. We design assessment 4 years, we do it, we evaluate what was, this is the assessment result. Based on that, why this, for example, E was 65, why this one was 62. We have designed an action plan like this one. Based on this action plan, we close the loop. We implement our continuous improvement, and all these actions, alhamdulillah, all of them had, most of them was implemented. And the evidence, we have it as a new plan. Okay, based on that, we close one continuous improvement cycle. Based on that, the continuous improvement is cycles. It never stops, never end. So we create another assessment cycle or Cqi cycle from the year 2017 and 2021. It will be ended this year. Okay, so we design this is a conceptual model, is not the time to explain, but this is how we use we use formative assessment, we use summative assessment, we use 2 direct way in formative, we use 3 in indirect. So this was a conceptual model, not the time to explain. Maybe tomorrow we can explain. And this is the assessment plan timeline. This is, for example, IS from A to J. And this is the semesters. We start in the semesters, okay, and it will be ended by this year.
Excuse me, Dr. Mohammed.
تفضل دكتور.
Yeah, I think a question that could be asked here is regarding the assessment of program learning outcomes. Why did we repeat the cycle of assessment of PLOs? I mean, we have two cycles of assessment. And what is the difference between the first assessment cycle and the second one?
Right. You mean, Doctor, here for, sorry. You mean for formative and summative?
No, I mean we have two cycles. One from 2012 to 2016, and the second one start from 2017 to this year. So why did we repeat it?
Okay, what other solutions, for example?
I mean, we should use the result of assessment to improve the improvement plan of the first assessment cycle. We should use it to introduce modifications in our program, and like for example modification in the program learning outcome. And the curriculum also. Why does it take this time to to modify the program?
It's clear. تفضل دكتور محمد.
Yeah, just what I understood from Dr. Anwar a question, like he said, why we repeat the second cycle? We have done from the first cycle and then we start the second cycle. Why? I think that Dr. Anwar, if I'm correct, because we use, I think, the first cycle, we got some result, and then I think in 2018 we start to modify our BLOs, like for CS and IS. I think we reduce the number of the BLOs at that time. I think this could be one of the answer if the questions come from the second cycle, or this is what I'm trying to answer Dr. Anwar question.
جزاك الله خير.
What do you think?
جزاك الله خير دكتور محمد. جزاك الله خير دكتور أنور. Yes, the first thing is that the continuous improvement cycle never ends. When you finish your first cycle, you should start your second cycle. This is by default, we have to do it. However, I know the concept of Dr. Anwar question, and really we use the results of the first assessment cycle to improve our programs, and we improve our programs, and the result was clear. We have updated curriculum plan, study plan, we have a PLOs. However, when we create the second cycle, 2017, was expected the actions, the improvement actions, the closing the loop to be so fast. So maybe it could 6 months, it could be 1 year, but we never expect that it will, for example, take for IS 2 years, and we never expected that for CS to take more than 3 years now for implement these actions. Okay, so why we have second cycle? It's normally we should have second cycle, but this second cycle should be on the updated plan. But however, was a little bit delayed. So we should be ready for these things, and sometimes it's acceptable. It's out of our hands. For example, many times it's sent to the curriculum committee, the university, go backs. Really, we are late. We have a delay in the implementation. Should take 6 months, 1 year, not more than that. And the new assessment cycle should consider the new improvement plan there. But however, we are working in the same one, but also as a good practice with that. And now we are creating the third one, which will be the third assessment cycle. Now we have to create our third assessment cycle, which should be considered the new update and the new curriculum. Dr. Anwar, is it clear? Do you have any extra information to add? Because this is a critical question.
Yeah, I think it's justified. But your answer is justified. Why there is 2 cycles of assessment. But of course, there is it is noticeable. Notable that there is a delay. In the implementation of the
action
plan of the first assessment cycle. But I want to add also, if we are saying that we also improve the assessment cycle itself, the assessment process itself, like we assess, for example, in the first assessment cycle, we use this method of assessment, and then in the second cycle, we improve the assessment method itself. Okay, so we may get more reliable assessment result outcomes. This is a kind of answer that could be used.
This is a fantastic, really, point. Really, and this is what happened exactly. We add the concepts of formative assessment in the second cycle. Jazakallah khair, Doctor. And we should be ready. And tomorrow, inshallah, maybe we can discuss more about the assessment cycle. But it's expected question: why until now you didn't assess the new learning outcomes for the new plan, which is the case is the implementation was really delayed. Jazakallah khair. At the end, continuous improvement, as we said, not just only for PLOs, no, continuous improvement framework as a whole. The one that we explained before was PLO assessment cycle and continuous improvement cycle, continuous improvement CQI for the PLO. However, as of the program, I would just remind everyone, as we discussed during the first day, we have a full picture for everything, for the input, process, output, outcomes, not only PLOs. The one that we define was, or just we show now, was for PLO Cqi cycle, which is very important. However, we said we assess our inputs using KPIs, processes through KPIs, output through KPIs. We have annual program report, course report. We have a full continuous improvement that also impacts on the vision, mission, on the goals, on the input, process, output, everything. This is the whole picture of our continuous improvement planning and process. This is the plan and the process, how to do it, which is really aligned with the quality system in the institutional level, because they may ask, is your quality system is aligned with the university and institutional system? Yes. We have a development and quality rectorship. We have a development and quality deanship. They have some defined procedures. They have some defined mechanisms, some defined systems. We have NCAAA standards, which is the university and the country adopt these standards. The university, NCAAA, they adopt or they define some specific KPIs. So all these one, our quality system, our continuous improvement, consider all these standards, KPIs, institutional procedures that from the Deanship of Quality Rectorship or Deanship of Quality, or from educational rectorship, institutional rules, and so on. And we are working to provide examples of that. Okay. The third topic in session 3 is about, they would like to make sure, they will ask now because they will meet here, they will meet the Deputy Vice Chancellor for Quality, they will meet head of committees. Here, maybe they will not meet the faculty. But the second day, the next session is the faculty, and the question will be repeated in different way. Is really the faculty and the staff was engaged in the quality assurance processes and procedures? So this is the topic for the third topic in the session 3. And as I said at the beginning in the introductory, that these quality procedures, quality assurance process procedures is not responsibility of the quality unit or quality coordinator. It's the quality of everyone, faculty, staff, head of department, everyone. This is so in the NCAAA, they will come to make sure that everyone was engaged in different level in the quality assurance processes and procedures of the program. So the most important, what we wrote really in the SSR, what was really implemented in our programs and college, our faculty and the staff not that much, but faculty really, they are members in the quality assurance process. Staff, and sometimes we ask Abu Muhammad and his team to work with us in something, but for the faculty, all of them was really working in our quality assurance process committees. We have standard committees. In each program, we have 6 standard committees. Each member in the program, they are member there. In the assessment committees, we have one main assessment committee, but we have sub-committees, okay, which I will show it tomorrow. Each one of us, for sure, you are contribute in sub-assessment committee, or you will be in some assessment committees. We are member in the curriculum committee, in the knowledge committee, in the SSR committees, Kpis committee. So all faculty, they are involved through what? Through these committees, subcommittees. So this is how you contribute. For example, if any question, how you contribute to the quality assurance through working in specific committees, doing some specific tasks. The good things that we have it in our programs, really, all committees consist of male and female members. Alhamdulillah, we are not like some other programs. For quality, they are working female separate and male separate. No, the standards committee, they are together, KPIs, assessment. Okay, and the good things also, some of our female faculty, they are the leader of some committees. For example, Standard 1 committee in ICE, the leader is Dr. Maymuna. Standard 2 committee in CS, the leader is Sister Naila. So this is good things that will contribute to yesterday things, what is the equality or the data integrity. They would like to see this equality or data integrity, or there is no differentiate or separation between male and female. So this is the main things. How that one, it will come one by one. For example, in curriculum committee yesterday we talk, assessment committee we'll talk tomorrow, KPIs now we will talk, SSR later we will talk. So this is how every faculty was engaged in the quality assurance process and procedures. The first topic that they will consider and talk during this session, third session, is Kpi measurement and target attainment monitoring. By the way, all these things we are talking today, it will reflect it tomorrow. Tomorrow's session, which is faculty session, session 4 is the faculty session. All the things that we talk today is identically tomorrow will be repeated in different way. So tomorrow will be more things, but they will ask about it. So they will ask how you formulate your PLO, how you were engaged in CLOs, how you are doing your continuous improvement, how you're engaged in the quality assurance. Are you a member of KPIs? They will ask tomorrow maybe about that. Also, they will ask about academic advising, other things. We will talk about it tomorrow. But now the fourth topic about this session today is KPI measurement and target. So I would like to make sure that, as we said, in our continuous framework, if you remember that the continuous quality framework, input, process, output, outcomes, we said we assess the input, process, output, all these things using key performance indicators, KPIs, which really is very important tools for us used to assess the performance of the program based on various academic functionalities. We are in the programs and DQU, we propose some to adapt NCAA. We said it's not our choice, was you have to take it, you can add as you would like, in a limited number extra, but you have to take at least 17 KPIs from NCAA. Based on that, we take it. All these existing KPIs and benchmark are approved by the College Council and Program Council. Okay. We form committees. It's based on the standards. For sure, if you are working in the standard, some of these KPIs was distributed, and Zahla khair, on behalf of you, would like to thank everyone, especially Sister Saira. Wallahi, she is working so hard with KPIs, because Saira is the director of the KPI assessment in the college, and she is working with all the teams. Zahla khair, wallahi, she is working so hard and doing very great job in that KPI assessment. After that, we take 17 KPIs categorized under 6 NCAA. As we said, we have 6 standards. So these 17 KPIs was categorized under these 6 standards: standard 1, mission; standard 2, the program leadership management, teaching and learning; faculty, standard 5, and so on. Okay. However, out of these 17 NCAA standard, KPI 6 in standard 3 is not applicable to the program, which I said in the session 1 was about the professional exam. Like the medicine college, they have this professional exam outside, in the هيئة التخصصات الصحية, they have this exam. So in our case, it's not applicable. Based on that, we have add one additional KPI called KPI program additional, okay, one which is in standard 2, which was related to the community service. We assess these KPIs yearly based. It's yearly based KPI. It's not like the PLO, we assess it in a cycle of 4 years. The cycle for program learning outcome assessment is 4 years. The cycle for assessing the KPIs is 1 year. Okay, I can ask a question. What is the cycle of assessing the CLOs? What is the cycle duration for CLO assessment? Could be a question like that. If PLO 4 years, KPI 1 year.
Yes, Mister.
Exactly. Allah khair Adlan. Okay. Alhamdulillah, I'm not sure if Saira can correct me if the number is not accurate. We assess the KPI since more than 7 years. Is it right, Sister Saira?
Assalamu alaikum, Doctor. As far as I know, I think from 2014, I guess.
Yes, this is what I guess. So I calculated it was 7 years.
Okay.
Jazakallah khair. And for NCAA, we provide them as per their request the last 3 years KPI. We provide them the KPI analysis report for 17-18, for 18-19, and for 19-20. 3 last years KPI. And Zallah Khair Saira with her team, they have one great report to show the improvement from year to year. And she creates a comprehensive report to show the differences and improvement in the 3 years. Okay, during assessing, because they may ask in details how you assess your KPIs. This could be a question for this session for sure. It could be questions also for session 4. Normally, all the standards committees, the KPIs committees, they collected from surveys, they collected from statistical data. For example, how many students to faculty? Okay. Other things, how many publications per faculty, how many citations. This is based on statistical data. And some KPIs based on surveys. Some KPIs based on reports, like KPI 1, that Jazallah Khair, Brother Akram, he's doing so great job, and he is collecting that data. Okay. It's according to the nature of the performance indicator itself. Normally, each committee prepared its survey and or how to collect the data. And we know that even if now Asad, I'm not sure he's working with the Kpi. I think you asked Yahya Al-Mazini now is collecting about our research data recently. It could be, I'm not sure if used for the Kpi or no, but for sure it will be used for the Kpi next year. And it was the same way was collected during the last year and before. We approve it normally in the program council, the department council. Okay. We collect it from a different way. Okay. Now, the Kpi, normally when Cyrus Allah Khair and or the team, in a separate team for the standard team, Jazakumullah Khair, everyone, we have to work about 5 factors: actual performance, target performance level, internal reference or internal benchmark, external reference, external benchmark, new target. These 5 things, we can consider they need it in this way. This is exactly what is in the SSR. So here, number of KPI, this is the KPI itself, and we have to fill these 5 data. What is these 5 data? Okay, we have in our program 17, the actual benchmark is the actual data that we get it from the assessment of KPI. For example, what is the actual, for example, how many publications per year for the faculty member? For example, we said 1 to 3, for example. This is the actual data that we get it for this year. When we collect the data, we find the average based on calculation that each faculty has 3 publications, for example. Okay, this is the actual data we get it from our results, our data. However, last year, we have some target. We need this year, each faculty member at least to have 1 publication. So this is the target benchmark, which is predefined previously. So, for example, the target benchmark was 1 faculty at least to publish 1 paper per year. Our actual benchmark, alhamdulillah, the data that we collected, alhamdulillah, was 1 faculty, he published 3. Alhamdulillah, we achieved the target. Then we have internal benchmark. Internal benchmark, there is 2 ways to do the internal benchmark. Either you compare with another similar program to you inside the university, or to compare with yourself last year. What we consider, this is 2-way acceptable in NCAAA and their documentation, they are mentioning these things. What we use in our college and programs, we use another program as internal benchmark. For example, IS program, if this is the KPI of IS, we use CS as internal benchmark. For CS program, we use IS for internal benchmark. For external benchmark, it should be a program, similar program. For CS, should be CS program in another university. In IS, should be IS program in another university. And wallahi, it was very hard task to do that. Unfortunately, we don't have yearly external benchmark. We have it just only for the SSR. جزاهم الله خير, Dr. Abdullah Al-Abbas and Dr. Mohammed Mashhoor, they work so hard. Finally, we get it. We get 2 external benchmark, which we'll talk now. Okay. Then for the new target benchmark, for example, I refer to the same example. Actual benchmark was for this research, how many publications per faculty, was 1 to 3. The targets that were there was 1 to 1. We achieve it. It means that when we set the new target, it should be what? It should be increased, because the previous target was 1 to 1, and alhamdulillah, we achieve it. So we suppose we are improving. We supposed to have here the new target is, we can say 1 to 5 or 1 to 4, or we can say in some specific KPIs, at least we'd like to keep with 1, this 1 to 3 if suddenly it came. But it cannot be less than the actual mark that we get it. Or for example, if the target benchmark was 1 to 5, For example, publication 1 to 5, this is the target. The actual that we collected was less, 1 to 2. We didn't achieve our target. The new target benchmark should be the same old target, because still we did not achieve it. So one of the questions for sure will be in this session, how you define your new target benchmark. The suitable answer, if we actual benchmark did not meet or did not achieve the target benchmark, so the same target benchmark will be used as a new target benchmark. But if the actual benchmark achieve and get the target benchmark, which will be a new target benchmark will be set, which is higher than the actual benchmark that we get it. Saira, I can give you more time to talk, but just let me finish this one. Yes, based on these results that we get it here, actual, target, internal, external, because here we compare with internal, external, we have to do analysis, a detailed analysis. This is the most important things. KPI, we assess it to have analysis. The analysis is to find the strength, area of improvement, and priorities for improvement. Finally, we have to find some priorities for improvement that can improve the program. This is the main target of the KPI. And monitoring, this is KPI measurement. This is how we measure targets, attaining, how we are attaining the target, how we define the new target, and monitoring. Why we are doing this KPI is because we'd like to find our strengths, our area of improvement, and our priorities of improvement, and which will be monitored by the department council and college council. For the external benchmark, we choose 2 programs. It was a difficult task, but finally we get it. For IS program, we choose 2 programs as external benchmark. We use IS program in Al-Jawf University, and we use IS program in King Faisal University. For CS also, we have 2 external benchmark that we use it in SSR. One CS program in Hayel University and CS program in King Faisal University. A question could be raised, why we use 2 external benchmarking? Al-Jawf University and Al-Hayel University selected to some reasons. One, both universities considers as emerging universities like us when they start university. It was maybe before 12 years, 13 years, similar when Najran University started. Okay, number of students in the program are similar to our programs. This could be a questions, clear questions to the person here. Why you select these programs? Because also number of students is almost around the number of students in our university. We cannot choose King Khalid. King Khalid University, their students is more than our students. Okay. Both program and open like in us, and both universities as terminal location. They are not in the center, like not in the big cities, like Riyadh, like Jeddah. We are in Najran, so we'd like to have some things like that one. But the problem, both of these programs, Hayel University and Al-Jawf University, CS and IS, they still not get NCAA accreditation. So sometimes this is weakness, that you compare yourself with programs that they didn't get NCAA accreditation. So for this reason, we choose King Faisal, the programs in King Faisal University. However, it's because they are NCAA accredited, okay, and they are really in big city. Their students more than us, but also we try to both of them we use the one that is similar to our situation and conditions, and we compare with higher one which are already accredited. Sarah, do you like to add anything?
Assalamu alaikum, Doctor. Can I discuss about the, the achievement rate of the KPIs for the academic year 1920?
Yes, you can.
So first of all, I would like to thank all the head of the standard committees who submitted the analysis for their respective standards, and based on the analysis report, the KPI committee prepared the overall analysis report and the comprehensive report. And regarding the KPI analysis, the overall achievement rate for the CS program is, out of the 17 KPIs, 9 KPIs were achieved. And in the CS department. In the IS program, out of the 17 KPIs, 13 KPIs were achieved. And in comparison with the male section and the female section, in the CS department, we can say that both the male and the female achieved 8 KPIs. Comparatively, males were best in 8 KPIs and the females were best in the other 8 KPIs. And in the IS department, the percentage of KPI achievement in the male section is 59%, and in the female section it is 54%. And when we talk about the KPI achievement for the past 3 years, we could see that there is a gradual improvement in most of the KPIs.
Exactly, Sister Saira. This is very informative and very important information. If you could pass it to everyone, okay, that everyone can at least to see this information in front of him and can see. This is very useful information.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you very much.
Okay. The fifth topic about this session, which will be data collection, analysis, and reporting cycle, standards, and dissemination channels. Most of the things that we talk about it, so we can give, I'll just cover it quickly, then we can give time for question and answer. And remember how data collection analysis based on our model, this continuous improvement from a framework that we say, okay, we collect data from input, we collect data from processes, we collect data from output, from input, from stakeholders, using KPIs, using reports, using surveys, okay? And we come up with some standards reports, okay? Then we do the analysis, evaluation, assessment, we do the evaluation, we have recommendations, we close the loop, we implement our improvement. Alhamdulillah, we close the loop, but sometimes we are late in do that, but at least we close the loop. And this is the good things in quality. Quality without closing the loop is nothing. Okay, reporting standards, we have a course report. This is a standard. Everyone should submit a course report according to NCAAA form at the end of the semester in the course file. We have annual program report. This is a yearly annual program report. This is a standard. We have a KPIs report, a yearly report, and as Saira, she discussed, on sub-reports. We have PLO assessment reports, semester-based. For each semester, we have, for example, in last semester, we assessed 2 PLOs. So we have a report for these 2 PLOs. But finally, when we assess the whole PLOs, we have one final PLO assessment report. We have self-evaluation scale, which every 3 years. We did it really in 2013, 2014. Then we repeated during the institutional visit, was 2017, 18, after 3 years. And now we repeat it now in 2021. So we have a continuous self-evaluation scale report. We have stakeholder survey results report. And on behalf, we would like to thank everyone, especially Dr. Aisha. She contributes perfectly in preparing, and everyone do his part. Jazakumullah khair. We have a PAC report. We have many PAC reports. We submit 2 PAC reports for the last 2 years. And I would like to thank everyone, Dr. Adil, Dr. Mohammed Alshargabi, all the teams, they work for this PAC report. We have the self-study report. Actually, we submitted for, let's say, for CS program, for CS, we submit 3 times self-study report, and we submit 3 times for EBIT. Because the people who were there at 2013, the university, they asked us to prepare a self-study report for CS program. At that time was chosen as a computer science program. So at that time, the team, we come up with a self-study report for computer science program for NCAAA. Then, however, nothing, it was not sent. I don't know what was the reason. Then we work for EBIT. So we start in the cycle, the year 14, we have EBIT SSR was then delayed. Then 2015, another SSR delayed. 16 was cancelled, so 3 EBIT. Okay. Then in October, if you remember, October 2016, they asked us again, please submit at the time CS and IS. I'm not sure about IS, but I remember CS, but we have to remember. But I'm sure in October 2016, asked us to submit again NCAAA SSR. Then nothing. Finally, this is the last SSR. For CS, for sure, it was 3 NCAAA SSR report was written and 3 EBIT. For IS, yani 3 EBIT, this is for sure. It could be 2 NCAAA or 1. Yani, this is not important, but just to know the story, how we are also having this self-study report. The report cycle, what is the methodology that we are working with the reporting cycle? Normally, this reporting cycle came from assessment. Assessment could be from survey, it could be from meetings, discussion, it could be from CLO, from PLO, from KPI. So gathering information from assessment from anywhere, then must to have analysis, detailed analysis, why this data is there. Then we have to come up with the recommendations. Then we have to close the loop implement based on the recommendation. Is it minor or major? And we talked about it last on yesterday and the day before yesterday. The channels, again, publication channels. Yani this is all the publication channels that we talk about it. We forget that we have this electrical screen that's in the level 1. It's also one of the channels that yani we post our information and channel to our students. Stakeholders, again, our stakeholders, I will not repeat it. Our stakeholders, they are employers, alumni, faculty, students, all the things that we discussed yesterday and the day before yesterday, how they are engaged through surveys, meetings about mission, goals, PLOs, curriculum, learning resources, and other things. Jazakumullah khair. Something is not written in the topic, but could be there about self-study report preparation. Okay, how we prepare? We prepare it. We have committees. Okay. We define a committees, standard 1 committee, 2 committees, standard 3 committee, blah, blah, blah committees. Okay, these committees working to write the SSR, okay, as real analysis, a real report to find the main strengths, weaknesses of our program to achieve our mission and goals. Okay, our self-study report has been considered as a research report on the quality of the program. So we can find statistical data, we can find analysis, we can find suggestion, improvement, action plans, okay? We have NCAAA accreditation plan, which is already attached with the SSR plan, exactly. Many plans, many cycles. I talk about it in the first day. Workshops at that time when they start in 2018, we start many workshops, how to prepare the self-evaluation scale about the SSR. And yani, alhamdulillah, the SSR was approved, okay, in our programs. The criteria, NCAAA criteria, could be covered during this session is program management implementation, implement an effective quality assurance and management system that is consistent with the institutional quality system. So, yani we talk about quality assurance system that assess everything, input, process, output, outcomes, KPIs, PLO assessment, annual program report, self-evaluation scale, evaluation, which is, we have standards, we have KPIs, we have defined learning outcomes, which is really consistent with the institutional quality system that we talk about, NCAAA standards, Kpi standards, the quality system in the deanship, in the university, procedures, rules. Teaching staff, employees, and students participate in planning, quality assurance, and decision making. And this is, as we said, teaching staff really, mainly they are contributing in the planning, they are working in the curriculum committee, in the defining of learning outcomes, all these things, in the quality assurance, the decision making, we take their opinions. Program management approve key performance indicators that accurately measure the program performance and coordinates to provide regular data on them. Alhamdulillah, we have certain defined KPIs, and we talk about that. This is essential important criteria. The program analyze the evaluation data annually, performance indicators and benchmark data, student progress, program completion rates, students evaluation of the program, course, service, view grades, and the results are used in the planning, development, and decision making. We are using all these data from KPIs, as we said, from learning outcome assessment, from surveys, from reports, annual program reports, because, for example, completion rate, we are assessing in the annual program report. Okay, student progress, we are from PLO, from the report, and we are using as a result. And as we said, we have to make sure the improvement which is written in the annual program report should be implemented according to the time before the visit. Last one, the program conducts a periodic comprehensive evaluation every 3 to 5 years. Alhamdulillah, we are in the 4 years for PLO, 4 years for PLO assessment, 5 years for the mission and goals, and prepare reports about the overall of the quality. We have this report with identification of points of strength. This is, we said, the most important to have strengths, weaknesses or area of improvement, and plans for improvement, what should be improved, and follow up its implementation. We have a good example. We have improvement plan. We follow up to implement. Maybe it's a little bit delayed and late, but alhamdulillah, we close the loop. Jazakumullah khair. We can open the session for anyone would like to add. Maybe I forget some important information. Any questions before we just select random questions to answer about that?
Excuse me, Dr. Mohammed.
تفضل دكتور.
I think you have already that we are practicing. Everyone is practicing this concept from his level. So one of the questions that we should ask ourselves and be ready to answer is that how do you practice those concepts? For example, assessment. This is one of the essential concepts in quality. So you should ask yourself this question, I mean, everyone, and be ready to answer a question like, how do you practice assessment in your activity, for example? Another concept is that continuous improvement. How do you practice that continuous improvement from your, in your activities? Thank you.
Dr. Anwar. This is expected questions and very important, especially today or tomorrow, for the session of 4. So anyone can answer the question of Dr. Anwar? How you practice assessing, how we practice the continuous improvement at your level as a faculty, for example?
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam rahmatullah.
Yeah, so one of the way to implement the continuous improvement, that's why we conduct all these surveys. whether on the level of the college, level of the department, level of the course. For example, the course report is a good way to improve yourself. You hear from your students, you hear from the course coordinator, and then improve your work for the next semester. So this is one of the way.
جزاك الله خير دكتور المجدوب. يعني excellent answer, especially when you said course report. Based course report is used one of the methods to continuous improvement. You are doing the continuous improvement at your level of the course. The data that we get it from students, as you said, from coordinator, from CLO assessment, from topic, all these things should be implemented next semester. And this is, we get a comment about it during NCAAA comments last time. So this is one of the practice. What about assessment?
Okay, doctor. So regarding the assessment, one answer can be that you are giving the questions, CLO-based questions, different questions to the student on the direct and indirect assessment, and performing this CLO assessment by the end of each semester to check the progress. And for example, that how many students have achieved the CLOs in the direct assessment and also in the indirect assessment. Other way, you have to monitor yourself also that, for example, if you are designing the questions, how exams previously and in the next semester, you are going to change the type of the questions. Like, for example, if some courses are the case study based, you can give the courses assessment methods to check the continuous improvement in that area. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair, Doctor. Yani, Asad, perfect questions. I can also add, everyone, beside that, this is the main things we are practicing assessment in our course learning outcome, as well as I think all of us, we are member of the assessment committee, sub-assessment committee for the PLOs. This is another level of assessing the PLOs. Jazakallah khair, Dr. Asad. I said I will answer your question that you asked me at the beginning, how our CLOs, if you just remind me, how the CLOs will contribute to the graduate attributes. That's correct?
Right, Doctor.
Yes, Jazakallah khair.
Yes, how we can compare that CLOs are, because we have multiple courses, number of CLOs, how the CLOs are aligned with the graduate attributes.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Okay. Anyone can give me the answer?
Yes, Dr. Alshargabi, our CLOs are actually mapped with the PLOs, and PLOs are mapped with the graduate attributes.
Alignment is the answer. Yes, we have two types of alignment. Exactly, Akram. Jazakallah khair. Our CLOs is mapped, aligned with the PLOs, and our PLOs are aligned with the graduate attributes. Right.
We can say this is not, we can say this is indirect alignment rather than direct alignment.
Yes, we don't have direct alignment between graduate attributes because graduate attributes is higher level than PLOs. So normally we try to align with the one that upper. So PLOs is upper than CLOs, and PLOs is graduate attributes is upper than PLOs. So based on that, we have this indirect alignment. طيب.
Jazakallah khair, Doctor.
Jazakallah khair, Doctor. Anyone would like to ask about anything? Would like to add anything? Okay, let's just to pick some questions. Okay. If we can, for example, how the program ensure the consistency between the program quality system and the institutional quality system? Or how the program ensure the quality assurance and management system for the program?
Dr. Mohammed.
Hello, Doctor.
Yeah, is there anyone can answer the questions or?
I think we need to hear
go ahead, Dr.
Alshargabi. We need to hear new voices.
Yes, and I think today was a heavy session. By the way, on Wednesday, it will be, tomorrow we will continue with session 4, which is important session, which is about the faculty meeting. Session 4 is faculty meeting. They like between 10 to 12 faculty members. So tomorrow we'll talk about all these things, assessment, blah, blah. Then on Wednesday, the session will be totally about expected questions in different, in the 4th session. We complete session 1, 2, 3, 4. And on Wednesday, it will be the whole 2 hours we will maybe give between 20 to 30 main questions. And we start randomly asking the questions to prepare and to practice the skills of answering the questions, because it's important skills. For example, we have first to wait a little bit to get the question clear, what they would like. We have to link the answer with important concepts. Like, for example, one of the questions today we discussed in the morning, how do you see the college after 5 years? Or how do you see the department after 5 years? How do you see the program after 5 years? Here, the answer should be just one trick. We have to link it with some things should be ready to answer. Or question of Dr. Asad, when he said how the CLO will be with graduate tributes. The answer was in the alignment. Then you can easily answer. For example, this is when we said, how do you see your program after 5 years or the college after 5 years? The tricky here, we have to think about main concepts like the mission. The mission is showing what the program will be after few years, which is 5 years. We can review our mission every 5, 7, 6 years. So our answer, if they are asking how do you see their college, our answer should be reflected from the college mission. If our program should be about the program mission. So this is, we'll try to practice it on Wednesday to how we can take the question, how we try to link the answer with very important aspects, continuous improvement, alignment, mission, achievement, KPI, analysis, CQI, all these things, inshallah, and to practice and to be ready. So for that, maybe we cannot, today we'll stop, we'll not continue with the questions. We'll leave it to Wednesday. If anyone just would like to add something, or Dr. Mohammed, you can conclude the session. Jazakallah khair.
Excuse me, Dr. Alshargabi.
Yes.
I have one question, and this question is to everyone. That as a faculty member, how you are contributing to achieve the mission of the program? It's very basic question, so it's to everyone. Anyone can answer this question.
Jazakallah khair, Akram.
Excuse me, I just want to answer the Akram question. I think if you keep in your mind that the top-down view of the program, we have a mission and which is mapped to the goals, and then to PLOs, and then to the CLOs, and then to your practices that you do every day. So by doing those practices, like you are teaching, you are asking the course PLOs to the assessment and improvement also of the mission of the program.
Jazakallah khair, Dr. Anwar. Perfect answer. Akram, do you have any to add for Dr. Anwar? I'm not
Yes,
sure if you are still talking because your internet connection today. I'm not sure if I interrupt you or you finish. ما ادري دكتور انور اسمعنا. طيب بليز دكتور اكرم.
yes, as Dr. Anwar said that we have our contribution at different levels. As in a form of team committees, we have different units. Or minimum at the course level. As a course instructor, I'm contributing to achieve the mission of the program by following the teaching strategies that will achieve to the quality of the education. So every one of us, we have our contribution at the different levels. In the DQ unit, these members, they are preparing different type of plans, committees, assessment. We are part of assessment committees in standards. So our contribution are in at different levels. So at the end, we have to achieve the mission. So this is, I think, some basic answer of this question.
جزاك الله خير. جزاك الله خير. بارك الله. طيب, if no one can ask any question or add something, Dr. Mohammed?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes.
Okay, if they don't have any question, we can close the meeting, and with many thanks to the faculty members who joined us today, and to you, Dr. Mohammed, for always great efforts. And thank you so much, and inshallah see you tomorrow بإذن الله واحد لحد. شكرا للجميع. الله يحفظكم.
إن شاء الله.
Tomorrow is an important session يعني إن شاء الله. جزاكم الله خير.
إن شاء الله. السلام.